Hi guys, Snorkel here, and I've noticed that you guys have been watching my BM800 video that I released almost 2 months ago. And I find it really interesting because it's now at 7,500 views. And after a month that I've released it, it was barely hitting 2,000 views. So I guess you guys are researching more about it and you guys are finding it helpful, and thank you so much for all that support. Now, because of this, a lot of you have been asking me questions on the comment section as well as reaching out to me on Facebook during my stream and also on sending me a message there. And I've noticed that there were common questions that you guys wanted to ask, and I felt like it was important for me to create a video addressing the frequently asked questions about the BM800. So this video is gonna be answering all of those frequently asked questions so that you can maximize your BM800. Let's get started. Now, before we get into the video, thank you guys so much for the patience. I have not uploaded anything for around 3 to 4 weeks. The big reason for that is because I wanted to focus on moving. The moving journey took us a month because when we finally were able to get access to this new unit, our president actually declared ECQ here in Manila. So we weren't really able to move a lot of stuff. We couldn't go back and forth because of all of that restrictions, and we did our part by staying home. Anyway, after that, there were still a lot of things that we needed to do. We needed to clean the house, move stuff back and forth, etc, etc. We've finally moved all the stuff here a few days ago, but the problem is right now, at the time of filming, I do not have internet. So once I upload this, it will have probably been like 5 weeks. Well, God forbid. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But yeah, in a few days, we're going to be getting our internet installed. Globe has told us that they will be installing it within the week. So I'm super stoked about that. The next thing that I changed was my beard. I shaved it off. New place. Why not shave it? And I hope you guys like this new setup. I really like it. This place was really a blessing and also, meets the needs of my wife and I. And we have this extra room so that I can create content and stream in. So I'm really excited to create new content for you guys. By the way, I really wanted to show you my setup and also tell you more about myself, and I want to do a Q&A, but I will set a goal for that. Now, I will do a Q&A vlog and a setup tour once we hit 3,000 followers on my Facebook gaming page, or 500 followers here, or 500 rather subscribers here on YouTube, whichever comes first. So guys, don't forget to follow and like my Facebook gaming page at fb.gg/northgaming. I stream there every day, 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Philippine time. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get more informative and educational content on streaming and content creation. Now, let's get it started. All right, let's see what the first question is. Question 1. How can I remove the hiss from my microphone? Ooh, okay, so this is one of the most commonly asked questions in that video, and let's address it. So first of all, let's acknowledge that the BM800 is a very cheap microphone, and since it's a cheap microphone, it has its own limitations. One of which is that it has a relatively high noise floor. And what do I mean by noise floor? Noise floor is basically the noise that is generated by the mic if it's not picking up anything. Each mic usually has its own noise that it emits, and higher quality or more expensive mics, just like this one, like the Rode Procaster that I'm using, have a generally lower noise floor. So that's one of the limitations of the BM800. The second one is that it is plugged straight into the motherboard, and usually our motherboards will not have enough power to provide clean gain to our BM800. And what do I mean by clean gain? Clean gain is basically amplification of the signal from the mic without introducing additional noise. Usually, clean gain is done when you have a proper audio interface or phantom power. You plug it in, there's a preamp there, and it adds more gain and volume without adding extra noise. Now, what happens is that since it's plugged into the motherboard and we increase the level, we're not just increasing our voices, we're also increasing the background noise or the noise that the microphone emits. So, that being said, I do have 3 options for all of you to consider to reduce the hiss. The first one is free, and it's to use RTX Voice. So I'm no longer gonna be showing you where to download it. Just Google RTX Voice and you will be able to find it in the NVIDIA website. Now, RTX Voice is something that the NVIDIA team has developed, and it's basically an AI application specifically designed to remove background noise in audio sources, and they use the RTX cards for that. But great news, you can use it without an RTX card. However, it performs best with an RTX card, and I've heard people in my community on Discord By the way, check my Discord link down below. I'm gonna put it down there. Join it so you can interact with me directly. They've told me that when they're using it, and that person actually has a GTX 1060, which is not an RTX card, he's experiencing delay in his stream. So it's the video and the audio is not in sync. And even if you're using this on RTX card, like I do have a 2070 Super here. I tried RTX voice. It works like magic. Talagang it really removes the background noise. However, it takes at least 1 GB of RAM. And as you know, when we stream, each and every single resource that we can keep is very, very important for us when we stream. So that's the first suggestion. The second suggestion that I have is to invest in phantom power. The BM800 is a condenser microphone, and typically condenser microphones need phantom powers to work at their best. It's just that the BM800 has a very low power requirement that you can use it, you can drive it, even if you know the voltage of your jack or your port or wherever you're plugging into is not that high. But now the phantom power costs around 600 to 800 pesos, so it's a very budget-friendly way to improve the quality of your mic. Phantom power, I've noticed that because I bought an audio interface with a phantom power, and just using phantom power really opens up the mic and it provides clean gain. Now, the negative for the phantom power is that if you just buy phantom power, when you outgrow the BM800 and invest more serious money into audio setup, usually you will not be able to use the phantom power. For example, this one, my microphone is a dynamic mic. It actually doesn't use phantom power. In fact, there's actually something for dynamic mics that you can use. It's called a cloud lifter. And the cloud lifter is built very, very differently from the typical phantom powers that you will buy to power your BM800. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you do outgrow your BM800, you're not going to be able to reuse it. But it is cheap, and it's one of the easiest ways that you can improve the audio quality. Now, the final recommendation that I have is to invest in a good entry-level audio mixer. Now, I know that sounds intimidating, but there are actually options that you can pursue as low as 3,000 pesos. Side note lang, I'm gonna get to it, but please don't buy the V8 Soundcard, okay? Buy a proper audio interface. The reason why it's very important to have a proper interface, and it's probably the best way to improve the BM800, is first of all, it has proper preamps, meaning that it can introduce clean gain to your microphone. And second is that even if you have a good interface, even if you outgrow it, for example, you can still use the same interface if you buy a new mic. In fact, this mic that I'm using is still using the audio interface that I bought for the BM800. And this is actually connected to the second question. Alright, second question. Is the V8 Soundcard a good choice, and what is the mixer you recommend? Okay, before anything, alright, I'm gonna say this loud and proud, and I'm gonna say this first thing. Do not, under any circumstances, buy a V8 Soundcard, okay? So I'm gonna make a separate video on the V8 Soundcard and why I think you should not be considering it as a sound card. But a couple of thoughts. I'll share with you, some of my thoughts right now. First of all, I don't think it has solid preamps, right? I don't think it's introducing clean gain. So basically, if you plug it to the sound card and then plug the sound card to the PC, it's still not solving the problem, right? You're still increasing the volume of the noise while you're increasing your volume of your voice. The second is that there's a very poor documentation about it online, and you really don't know how it's built. So you don't know what it does to your signal. And third, guys, you can look on YouTube. Look at people who do covers or who use the V8 sound card. Probably 50% of them, you will hear a hiss if they don't know how to use noise suppression. Guys, do not buy it. And if you guys want to spend for it, it's around 600 pesos. Buy phantom power instead, because that's what the BM800 condenser mic needs. So instead of the V8 sound card, this is what I would recommend. I recommend the Behringer Zenix Q502 USB. Alright, so this is actually the mixer that I'm using, and I'm just gonna hold the box because I'm currently using it. So this costs around 4,000 pesos. There's a cheaper variant called the Q302 USB that you can consider if you don't need the hardware compressor. But basically, this is the interface that I'm using right now. If you like how my voice sounds and how I've mixed it, all of the audio that's coming from my mic is coming directly from the Zenix Q502 USB, and it's skipping voice meter completely, right? So what do I recommend about this interface? First of all, its price, it's very cheap. It's 4,000 pesos. It's usually half of the price of what people usually want to buy first, like the Scarlett Solos. Second is that it does have the Zenix preamp. So this is the entry-level preamps that Behringer has. Second, it has gain control, right? So you can control the gain, increase and decrease. You can't do that with phantom phantom power. It has hardware EQ, so you can have the highs and then the lows, and then even panning, so left and right, yung volume left and right. And you can actually use this instead of voice meter. It has compressor, so if you watch my previous video, you'll know how a compressor works, basically making sure that the volume stays the same regardless if you're screaming or being quiet. So it has a hardware compressor, it has phantom power here, and it has a pretty good headphone amplifier. So I actually here use the studio headphones. That's the DT7070 Pro, and it's actually driving them pretty nicely. It's a 250 ohm version, so if you're not a nerd, just ignore what I said. But it's a pretty nice headphone jack actually if you decide to use it. So I would actually invest in this because this one can really power more expensive mics. So this one requires kind of a bit more gain, or generally higher gain than other dynamic mics to drive. So this is my Rode Procaster, and I even have a friend who has a Shure SM7B. That's the legendary streamer mic. And if you look at Shroud and all of those big streamers, if you see their mic, diba, parang it's like a capsule also. That's a Shure SM7B. It's notoriously hard to drive. He can drive it with a Xenix Q502. And just to show you the quality, I've actually been using this Q502 USB. I bought it actually after a week when I released the BM800 video, and I've been using it for my stream. So let's quickly shift to the BM800 to see what the audio quality is like. Okay, so we're gonna do handheld mode here of the BM800 because I didn't want to set up another boom arm. And basically, this is how it sounds like. This is the BM800, and it's plugged into my Behringer Xenix Q502 USB. I tweaked the mixer settings a bit because this one requires way less gain to drive versus my Rode Procaster. And as you can hear, it may be a downgrade compared to my Procaster, but it actually sounds much better than the BM800 out of the box and just straight into the motherboard. So I really do believe that you should invest in this audio interface because it's just 4,000 pesos. I think there are some places that you can find it at 3,500, and if you can get it on sale, maybe in the 9/9, 10/10, 11/11, 12/12, or whatever date that Lazada or Shopee has, if you get it on a chance to get it on sale, get it already. And let's get to the next question. Why do I hear my voice at the speaker or headphone? There are probably 3 reasons that's misconfigured on your system. Let's switch over to my desktop view so that I can walk you through how to fix them. Alright, here we are at desktop view, and I will walk you through the things that you may need to reconfigure. First of all, I want you to go to voice meter and make sure that you're not outputting to your actual output device that you're using now. So what I'm saying is click this one, this speaker button here at the tray, and then see what you're using. Right now, the speakers that I'm using, the output device is the XB271HU, which is my monitor. Make sure that you don't output to that device that you're using because you will hear it directly to your ears, and you will also have a problem called the audio render error, and this is what's causing that. So that's the first thing that you may be misconfiguring. Make sure that it's always in the digital output, and don't worry, the next question is about dealing with situations that you don't have digital output. But for now, please do not output it to the output device that you're currently using. Can I use the DJ settings for Discord, Zoom, or any software that I use? Yes, you can. I was actually supposed to include that in my previous BM800 video. However, my editor and I decided that the video was going to be too long. So let me show you how to do it. So here I'm going to be showing you how to set voice meter as the input to make sure that your mixed voice is actually the one being used in your Zoom meetings or in your Discord calls. And regardless if you're using Skype or any other software, like maybe even Facebook Messenger, you should follow these same settings. Okay, now for Zoom, what you have to go is to go to the settings, click this button here, go to audio, and then make sure that your microphone is referenced as voice meter, right? So whatever your voice meter output is, there you go, guys. This is what it will use whenever you're in the call. Okay, I'm just gonna go make it back to put it back to my original one. So, okay, we're done. For Discord, it's pretty much the same thing as well. Go to voice and video, and then yung input device means it's the microphone, and then select voice meter. It's as simple as that. So any software, just go to the input settings, then change it to voice meter. Why can't I find Realtek Digital Output as an option? Well, I've never really encountered this issue yet. I actually recommend using a software called VB Cable, which is made by the same people that make voice meter. So you just Google VB Cable, install it, and then you can choose one of those cables to be able to output. Read the manual online at the VB Cable site, and you will be able to use it as your digital output. Okay, last question. Why is my PC not detecting connecting my microphone? This is the last question, and this one is generally very easy to answer. Let's go to desktop mode again. So the next thing that I want you to do is go to your sound settings. So right click the volume button again. Actually, just right click it and then go to sound control panel. And when you go to sound control panel, go to recording, and you should be seeing which microphone you're speaking into. This is my the microphone that I'm using. You should go to the listen tab and make sure that the listen to this device option is unchecked, because if you click this, if this is checked, you will be monitoring your device, and it's a very high latency monitoring. It's gonna be delayed, and it's just gonna be messing up with your head, and it's gonna distract you. Now finally, you may be misconfiguring it here at OBS. Go here to the audio mixer, right click it, and go to advanced audio properties, and make sure that audio monitoring, all of this is off. Right, so that's pretty much it. Those are the top 3 reasons why you're hearing them on your headphone. By the way, if you choose to monitor your voice, please do not monitor on your speaker. I've had people ask me this. You will get feedback. You cannot monitor it on the speaker. If you're gonna be monitoring your voice, you need headphones to be able to monitor them properly. And that concludes our video. Hopefully I was able to answer your frequently asked questions. If it helped you, please leave a like. If it didn't, please leave a dislike. And if you want to help other people with their BM800 problems, please don't forget to share and spread this video around. Leave a comment below, tell me what you think if you have any questions. Plus, I also want to know what type of thing you want to learn next. So thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Norclaw, and all will rise, lahat tayo aangat.